We figured Cross Guild will be really important and impactful in the One Piece world. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, where a vice admiral would get taken out and it'll be just such an important message, because Oda's been dropping bangers, and surface level they're very straightforward, but when you look deeper, they're very important in regards to how art imitates life. It's so much here to talk about, considering what T-Bone's death means to the world and how it can reflect our world in a way as well. It's kind of sad. First off, we're gonna pour one out for T-Bone. I was clowning him a little bit in my reaction, and I want to apologize. That's just fanfare entertainment, because T-Bone, he's a very good Marine. He's one of the good ones. And funny enough, T-Bone really cared about civilians and innocent people, and he was always willing to sacrifice himself. You could say he had the Pedro syndrome. No, it may be insensitive considering that he's dead.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, I'm not gonna say he didn't die in Pepe Island, right? He might have died. More than likely he is dead, but you know, history does tell us that sometimes characters can fake their deaths, and for a cause and for a purpose. Let's say a family was really starving and he decided to fake his death so that that family can actually get some money, or maybe he actually sacrificed himself. But I don't think he actually died getting caught off guard by this random old man. Not buying it. After looking deeper into T-Bone's character and what he means and what he stands for, no way. I think he gave himself up. I think he actually died on purpose, if he is dead, so that this family could get some money and survive. They say over 1,000 people starve every year in Pepe Island. That's something that T-Bone would actually care about, for sure. So with that being said, one of the good ones, I don't feel happy that he's dead, but this uncovers, I would say, an underlying issue in the One Piece world. Now, Sengoku's and Tsuru's discussion, it's very important, because it gives us not a bird's eye view, but more insight in regards to how some of the top Marines feel about Cross Guild and what's happening in the world. I mentioned art imitating life because in different shows or just in real life, how people are starting to talk about us governing ourselves because they can't trust the police to govern us. Talking about the black community, of course, how some people don't feel safe in their own neighborhoods because you don't know if the police, people that are sworn to protect, are going to be the ones that end up taking your life. I know it's getting a bit deep, we're going a bit far, but this is what the story is calling for. MIhawk and Cross Guild, the others, Crocodile Buggy, it's a very exaggerated version of what the world would be, but there's a version of that where people go around and they carry out vigilante justice. Now, putting a bounty on a Marine's head is absurd, but like they're saying, the world is screwed up, it's messed up. But these people that feel like they're doing honorable things, these Marines, they are looking at it like, yo, these people are ungrateful. We are sworn to protect them. And I hated this section based on what Sengoku said, and of course we wait for official translations to even go that far, but I'll say this. He said, I choose me, I'm sorry. How can you serve and protect the people if you're constantly looking over your shoulder, worried about you getting clipped? Interesting. Think about the people. How can you serve and carry out just living life if you don't know if one day you're walking past the celestial dragon and they decide they want your wife or your daughter or your children or your life? If you look burly and they look at you like a special race, they're like, I want that. I want him, I want her, I want it. Nobody can stop them. Not even the Marines that are sworn to protect the people. So I'm sorry, Marines. Do you not see how Cross Guild is actually showing you guys, giving you guys a taste of your own medicine? You don't protect us enough. And Sengoku saying that, I was a bit perturbed because Sengoku, okay, Sengoku. Are you not aware of what happened in Ohara? Were those citizens not deserving of protection? Oh, they knew things. So the protection, it varies based on the discernment of the Marines and the Navy. Oh, that's interesting. That's a perspective I was not aware of. Smells like hypocrisy. But for Sengoku, similarly to a lot of these Marines that think that way, you know, they sacrifice for the greater good. And technically, he's not the one in control here, but you have to understand what people have been going through. And Tsuru, she set the record straight. I'm happy she was there to kind of be somewhat of a voice of reason, not defending the antics, but saying, hey, think about it from this perspective. With poverty and wealth, we all adapt to our circumstances. These people are just adapting. With all the death, the starvation, those bounties matter. These people, they're trying to survive just like we are. And for sure, this is what Cross Guild had in mind, is giving the Marines a taste of their own medicine and how it feels to be hunted when you're just living your life, which is, from a pirate's perspective, somewhat weird because you guys, most of you guys are not good people. Like, You're just not. Seeing Hina again was really cool. Hina, did she upgrade? She looks a little better. Yeah, Garp has been missing for days and they don't know where he is. Sengoku's trying to offer him a THC rice cracker and they're like, well, Hina's like, well, Garp went to go save Kobe and they're losing their absolute minds because they're like, he didn't go to Hachinosu, did he? Son of a bitch did it. Okay, move out. I wonder if they're gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna be a bit too late. They may pull up at the same time Blackbeard pulls up and da-da-da-da-da, but Garp went to Hachinosu. And even in this chapter, it somewhat implies even more that Garp is not a part of Sword because it said he went and teamed up with Sword. And again, Sword is feeling like somewhat of just a novelty in the Marines now because everyone seems to know about it. I wouldn't be surprised if Doflamingo knows about Sword at this point and he's in jail. What is going on? But this chapter is about Buggy. Buggy stole the show. I'm not the biggest Buggy stan. I'm a Buggy fan, obviously. I'm not the biggest Buggy stan, but in this chapter, I can understand how people could gravitate to Buggy because in a way like Blackbeard and Luffy, he is a manifester. He is someone that believes in dreams, and I think Oda gave us some more context in regards to why he veered away from even his partner Shanks and why he didn't follow him. You know, back then we would get flashbacks about Shanks and Buggy here and there, but it never really gave us this context as to why Buggy looked at Shanks the way he did. Why didn't Buggy want to be under Shanks? He said Shanks had the potential to be the next great pirate in this era, but he did not follow him for reasons, which we'll talk about. But Buggy, we go to Empty Bluff, and things are transpiring the same way it did back then, where Buggy and his men, they love Buggy so much, they're doing things in which it benefits Buggy, but it has MIhawk and Crocodile looking like super subordinates, and they're like, we don't like that. The meeting room, right, is really where they meet and they just beat up on Buggy because he's doing stupid stuff. They have to go to the meeting room because they don't want to embarrass him and somewhat cut off the morale of the people. They want to somewhat maintain this facade that Buggy is in charge because technically based on the public perception, and perception in One Piece world more than often is the reality, they don't want to just completely cut off Buggy and have the people looking at him like, yo, is this guy a fraud? What's actually real here? So they're like, you know what? He created this mess. Let's just continue doing it. But in the meeting room, that's when things are actually how they should be. But in the meeting room, Buggy impressed me. I'm not gonna lie, he impressed me. Okay, he did. I'm not gonna lie, it was jarring when I saw the guy that took down T-Bone. I was like, he's an old man. Like, how could he take down Vice Admiral T-Bone, who was formidable, pretty decent? Huh? But knowing T-Bone's personality, he either faked his death or sacrificed himself on purpose because he cares about people greatly and he's about honor and sacrifice. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think T-Bone is dead. I think T-Bone is going to stay on Pepe Island trying to actually make it a better place, and he sacrificed his life for the bounty to try to do that. That's my headcanon. I don't know. It just feels like weird for someone as honorable as T-Bone to die, but it makes a lot of sense considering what he means and what he stands for, you know? In this chapter, Buggy feels like a better pirate than MIhawk and Crocodile. Okay. Hear me out. MIhawk and Crocodile, it seems like they have different interests, right? They want different things. They're not aligned. Them and Buggy, they're not. And Buggy's people, they're not. And Buggy's trying to say, hey, this is a way in which we could become in alignment if we go after this one thing. But for MIhawk and Crocodile, they both have no real interest anymore. Well, we never know if MIhawk ever did. Crocodile definitely not anymore considering what happened to him in New World. So Buggy's trying to remind them of how aligned interests work. And it goes back to last chapter, how Blackbeard was talking about it, saying we don't have to be friends. Our interests just have to align. And for Buggy, Crocodile, and MIhawk, you can tell there is not really an alignment yet, right? They're there because they have to be. What if they actually agree on a goal and chase after it together? I think they'll be proved to be more formidable and even more dangerous because more people with aligned interests would join their cause, not just considering the bounty they're placing on the Marines. Back to Buggy and Shanks now. I like the backstory and the context Oda is providing, and even though we've seen this flashback before where they talk about Roger and sailing together, we never got this context from Buggy where he's looking at Shanks as the next generation's king. Insanity. And he felt like he misjudged Shanks. Now for Shanks, you wonder if any of this is influenced by what was told to him by Roger, because he looked at Shanks, the potential was insane, and because of Shanks's potential, he was shown so bright, Buggy gave up on his dream because he's like, I can't compete with that. But then looking at Shanks and Shanks's somewhat forgotten ambition, he feels like now they're on the same page or same level again so that he can now chase after it. But Shanks back then, he was supposed to be the next generation's king. What happened? What changed? I think Roger had something to do with it, and of course Luffy's injected now. So but Buggy, based on where they are now and the fact that he has MIhawk and Crocodile within his grasp or somewhat a part of his crew, he's like, we're even We're on the same playing field. It is within reach. Why not go after it? I want to be Pirate King. Now, there is a strange world where Mihawk, Buggy, and Crocodile obtains the One Piece. I don't think it's in this actual world. It's in a parallel universe. I do think Buggy somehow makes it to Laugh Tale. I do. I don't know how, but I do. Buggy becoming the Pirate King, people have talked about this for a long time, by the way. This is not something new, but it actually seemingly having a potential to happen. I'm like, what the, bro? I saw something on Twitter. I forgot who posted it recently, but it was really cool, where it's like the smokers and the swordsmen, where you had Crocodile and Mihawk, right? Because Mihawk is technically the right hand of Buggy, and Sanji and Zoro, right? Sanji and Zoro, the right hand and the smoker, and they had Queen and King, just showing just like, it's always a smoker on the crew. Shanks' crew is a bit weird because Ben Beckman is the right hand and he's a smoker and he's not a swordsman, so he's kind of like eclectic in that way. The crew in general, I mean, they don't have any devil fruit users, all that different stuff. Tangent. But Mihawk and Crocodile, they look like novices here. Like Buggy was somewhat the voice of reason saying, hey, this is how we make our impact. Now I understand for them, they have no interest in it. But what people are clowning this chapter mainly off of is Mihawk's comments when Buggy mentioned the Pirate King. It's a reach. It's funny though. It's funny. But Buggy really impressed me here because he's talking about dreams and how dreams are important. We understand in One Piece, dreams is the core of it all, right? A man's dreams never die. And for Buggy's, it faltered for a while, but it did not die. And Buggy's here saying, yo, we can go after the One Piece and grasp what we all desire most. That's what it is. And it felt so somewhat moving, right? It's Buggy and it's somewhat joking. They're hitting him, they're doubting him. For Mihawk and Shanks, this conversation is not going anywhere because Mihawk says here, do you expect us to go pick a fight with Red Hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? Are you kidding me? I don't want that type of smoke. Didn't say all that. He didn't say all that. But people are clowning him because people are saying he does not want to fight Shanks, and they're going back to Marineford, they're going back to Vista, they're going back to pulling things that are not there. Reach, stretch. Funny though. Funny. People are saying he's on Fraud Watch, calling him Fraud Hawk again, saying he doesn't want to smoke. I'm like, yo, stop it. If it's one character I believe in and I know for a fact he's going to be a monster, and I don't think he's scared of the smoke, obviously. He was hunting Marines back in the day. Like, what are we talking about? Is Mihawk. I'm so confident in Mihawk's strength. Once we see him, we're gonna be like, yo, is he an all-time great? I mean, I think it's obvious, but come on now, come on. Buggy has somehow rallied the troops. I think Crocodile and Mihawk, they're gonna have to agree with what Buggy's saying and doing, or somehow act like they are, go after a poneglyph or something. But Buggy has reinvigorated his troops and his people, which is fantastic. Now we jump to revolutionaries and we see some new revolutionaries. Now I like how Oda's building up these different factions, giving us more of them because it's going to be a big war and more people make sense at times. I don't want it to be a Wano thing where we're just focusing on people that don't matter and the major players are not getting the focus that we want. But some of these people are cool. Ahiro, Mooman, that's not what his name is. Luciano, Ahiro, Gamble, and what was the other dude's name? Jiran, right? And they're the subordinates of the main members of the revolutionaries. Karasu, Leidenberg, Bello Betty, and Morley, right? They're direct subordinates seemingly. Now, our hero, she seems like Kid, but she's like Caribbean. Like her accent is crazy, but she has a metal arm, so I'm not sure if she is a creation, if she's just quirky. We're still trying to figure that out. Now, I do think one person here, they have the munch fruit where they can eat anything. If you look at Jiran, it looks like he's just eating the binoculars. That's what it looks like. It looks like he's eating the binoculars. So he probably has a munch fruit. So, you know, we thought we was feeling him. Let's move on. Either way, things get real because Sabo is back. Sabo's not dead like we all thought, because based on what happened to Lucia, where Sabo was as opposed to where things happened, I mean, he's fine. And he's back at the revolutionary headquarters in Kamabaka Kingdom, and he has Modi with him. And Modi is the chick that was with Ace in the cover story, all the different stuff. You guys know Modi, right? She's not dead as we expected. It just seemed like, come on, Sabo and death flags. Oda, it's not gonna work, okay? Because you're not gonna kill Sabo. Ace is already dead. You're not gonna kill Sabo. So it's something that we expected, but Sabo's here and Sabo has something to tell us. He's gonna tell us about actually what happened at the Reverie. Now, when I was reacting, people were spamming Sabo and a few good men, but I'm like, yo, we're gonna get the real truth as to what happened. How did they escape? At this point, I don't even think it matters. They escaped because they were just better than the admirals and the Marines and the world government that day. Pathetic. No excuses. No excuses. But guys, there's more. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, BrogODAce. Follow me on Instagram, BrogD.ace. Thank you to my members. I appreciate you guys so much. My patrons. I love you guys. All right. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.